Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. Today I want to show you a really special fuzz box. It has two circuits built in. One is an Orbiter style BC108 NOS transistor, like germanium transistor type fuzz, and the other is a modified Rangemaster type boost. You can stack those two sides in both directions and the pedal even sounds amazing after a wah-wah. This is the Formula B Fuzz Rangers. Before I start explaining what kind of sounds you can get out of the Fuzz Rangers and what kind of settings you can change with the mini toggles, etc., already the intro track needs some explanation because I used two very different sounds with the two guitars. The Tele for the rhythm had boosted fuzz tone, much more like a fuzzy overdrive. And then for the solo with the Strat, I only used the fuzz side, which are already two radically different tones, and I didn't even go crazy with the controls or anything. I just went for two very different yet very organic tone that you can get with the Fuzz Rangers. This is the bypass tone. This is the Strat going now straight into the rev, which is pretty much cranked. It's on its clean channel, but it's almost all the way up, and at this point, even with single coils, you have this cranked amp, cranked clean channel kind of tone, which is definitely something that works really well with fuzz pedals. And then here's the left side of the pedal, which is the fuzz side. You can set the amount of fuzz and the volume. Of course, these two knobs will react to the fuzz side of the circuit. And this is how I had the pedal for the solo section in the intro track. It's crazy how naturally it reacts to the volume pot on a guitar. If you roll it back, it cleans up in a very beautiful way, but it's not like a silicon fuzz that will become super sparkly. It does the germanium fuzz thing, but it does that in such a natural and linear way. That's really cool. It's not like on 10 it's like big and huge and muffled, and on 9 it's already thin and sparkly. It's the opposite here. It really is very easily adjustable depending on how much warmth and like bigness and fuzz you want. You just roll back your volume and you'll find the sweet spot where you want to be. And then there's the rhythm sound that I had in the intro track with the Tele, where I had the boost on in front of the fuzz. This is this little toggle switch with which you can decide if the boost goes into the fuzz or the fuzz goes into the boost, so you can swap the order. And I had it on this side, so boost went into the fuzz, because if you set the low cut frequency, like you set up how thin that treble booster should be, to the mid setting or the high setting, you remove a lot of the low end that goes into the fuzz, which means that it's gonna be much less of a fuzz and much more of an overdrive. And obviously the stacked tone, when you have both sides on, will change radically depending on where you have the mid, high and low sort of EQ shaping mini toggle on the boost side right here on the top. If you go into high setting, the high setting is going to be much more hunky and sort of thinner, and on the low setting you have much more low end, so it just becomes even bigger and rounder and just a, yeah, it's gonna be a really, really sweet big fuzz sound. What I also find really impressive about this fuzz is how close it can get to sort of a really famous vintage, like old fuzz tone. It's an arbiter style fuzz, the left side obviously. It's just such a nice relation between the two sides, the boost and the fuzz in the pedal, and with that toggle with which you can change the EQ of the boost and also decide on the order, if fuzz goes into boost or boost goes into the fuzz, you can make the pedal sound radically different and still sound very, well, natural in a way. It's not like a filtered circuit. It's just a very well constructed circuit. That's what it is. And what's cool and new about the Fuzz Rangers is that now you can turn on and off both sides at the same time if you want to. Like if you always use the Fuzz Rangers in a way that boost and fuzz are both on, you don't have to do this, you know, go one and then the other. If you long press the left side, it starts blinking. And then, whenever you turn on the pedal, with whichever switch, both sides go on and off. Whenever I test a new fuzz, I usually gravitate towards a single coil loaded guitar, Strat, Tele, whatever, because single coil pickups just work so well with fuzzes. And in some cases, some fuzz pedals will also not sound that, well, usable, or at least not very versatile with humbuckers. Now check this out. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's crazy how well the boost side and the fuzz side work together, especially in a tricky situation like a Les Paul with all the low end and mid range, even with like 11 to 50 something strings, D standard tuning, like all the tricky things for a fuzz. But because it has the Rangemaster style boost side, and you can pick the order, you can choose the frequency that should, like from which frequency it should cut the low end. You can make it sound like a good old vintage overdrive pedal, or like an amp overdriving or whatever. It's not even that much like a fuzz anymore. And I have one more thing to do to test how the Fuzz Rangers sounds with a wah pedal. This is my mini Dunlop wah, and I have this connected right after the guitar, and from the wah I'm going into the Fuzz Rangers and then into the clean amp. This is something that Formula B claims that this is one of those few vintage type, arbiter type fuzz circuits that actually sounds great and natural even after a wah-wah pedal. As soon as the Fuzz Rangers arrived, I tested it out for a certain song, a known song that I will record. I'm in the middle of recording my album, and there's this one song that starts with a fuzz, and I was looking for the right one. I have at least 7 fuzz pedals here around, and I plugged them in and went through them and tried to nail that tone that I was going for. And then the Fuzz Rangers arrived, plugged it in, and I was like, thank you. That's the one. These are moments that are just so interesting, and it's really hard to describe, really, but these are the musical situations, like when you try out a pedal in live context. That's where you can tell if it's cool or if it's just nice, or not even that. Maybe it disappoints totally, and you would have loved it at home and you really enjoyed playing it alone, but with a band it's a different situation. So that already is a huge thing for me. So the Fuzz Rangers is definitely going to be one of my go-to fuzzes from now on. And obviously the new feature with like staying on the fuzz switch, and then after blinking you can turn on and off both sides at the same time. That is just awesome, because especially with a humbucker guitar, if you always have both sides on or off, you don't just use the fuzz or just the boost. This is just essential. That's what it is. All right, Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Fuzz Rangers. What is your favorite fuzz? What is your go-to fuzz, if you even use one? If not, why don't you? You really should. Take it easy. See you down there in the comments, and see you in the next video.